What up, y'all? Merry Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas Eve. I'm not gonna waste y'all's time. I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all this Romeca Meeks update and get on out y'all's way. And this here is I have quite a lot here. Let's get it.
Dude, I can't get over the speaker.
To me and I throw it down. Why you lie so much? Why do you lie so much? I'm talking to you. What? Talk to me and I throw it down. You want to keep lying? This how I feel when somebody keep lying to somebody. Why did you lie? Tell me why you lied. Tell me why you lied. Why did you lie? Why you lie so much? Why do you lie so much? I'm talking to you.
It's entirely possible, that Holly and Carlos will be turned against each other. Carlos might be a witness for the prosecution. Holly may also be a potential witness if they charge Carlos. One of them is going to be pitted against the other one. We don't know what electronic evidence exists, what's in their cell phones, what's online, just all this other stuff that can factor into it.
As this case continues to unfold, the online conversation is getting louder.
And this is Crime in
Someone
Detail,
claiming
by
to
the
be
way.
very close to the situation has decided to speak out publicly. The following statements were shared on Facebook on different dates by a woman who says she has been friends with Holly since kindergarten and has also spoken with Meeks. She posted these in response to what she describes as misinformation, speculation, and false narratives circulating online. I'm going to share her words exactly as posted, without edits or commentary, so you can hear what she said for yourself. Y'all are loud and wrong about a lot, still. I know it's a touchy subject because of crash outs and baby mama or baby daddy drama, but a lot of y'all just pulling shit out y'all ass, as y'all do daily for a Facebook check and or to go viral. If you're gonna speak, at least know what you're talking about or wait for the facts to come out. I've been friends with Holly since kindergarten and have spoken to Meeks as well. Men will be men, and even less. However, both these ladies aren't around their kids RN, which will probably never have a bond now over this man. Meeks might have fought over this man 50 million times, but she was a good mom, period. Holly never went to no school to harm that lady, as y'all can see. Her car was blocked in. She wanted a family and to protect herself and her newborn, who was in the back seat at the time. Meek's son was at school. She had already dropped him off. Carlos did a lot to keep them separate for as long as he could and was a very active father for both kids despite the mom's differences, until that day. It's a lot that transpired between the three of them way before that day. Both families know that. Just let the people who are paid to seek justice do their job. That's why I'm quiet online. I am praying for those kids because they ain't deserve to not be around their parents. Here's the second Facebook post from her bestie. Holly was actively on TikTok before she even met Lost.
Thank you for the follow.
Started remaking everything Holly did on there because she could dance better. We know this. Even started posting baby shower TikToks in the boy 6. Shit delusional baby mamas do to intimidate the new girl. Saying Holly was jealous when she clearly had and still have loss is insane. He chose her. What would she be jealous about? Y'all been comparing designer and dances when my friend been in designer and been stiff. Nothing new. The girl went live stalking Holly from a separate device, refreshing her page saying where you at, watching Holly like the news for the world to see. She had no shame in stalking Holly. She was furious she couldn't get to her to beat her up like she did everybody else over loss. After those posts began circulating, another individual responded with a very different account of what happened. Here is what she posted. On September 8th, Romeca, after dropping her child off, Ms. Blackman made a U-turn on her way to the expressway to work and saw her child's father never approach Holly, never instigated nothing with Holly. According to witness security guard, she was arguing with Carlos, not Holly. That matters in this case. Romeca did not encounter the version of Holly that her family and few supporters are choosing to highlight now. She encountered the same version many of you have already seen in her mugshot. No remorse, no heart, no soul. less of a mother, who took a life in front of her 6-month-old, the violent and confrontational version. This is the Quadrigea M.J. Hansen, who was ready to pop off at unarmed Romeca the second she seen her. Remember, this is her first time seeing her in the flesh. Those are facts. Documented facts. We have yet to see nothing. They say she was never getting charged, and her family is also saying they will be displaying everything during trial. We waiting. Holly lied about Romeca threatening her and her family. In fact, Holly was the aggressor. That's why she locked up and facing murder 1 away from her 9-month-old, who witnessed a murder at newborn stage. Careless act of a girl who deserves to stay in jail. She will never wipe old people ass. She unalived Romeca in a school zone, 9 a.m. with children and parents were. Even her own child was in her car. She is a menace that needs to stay locked up. Let me hear your thoughts on this. While you type in your thoughts, here's something chilling as seen on Facebook. It says, "This is the aunt of Quadasia Johnson, and she is working hard to show her belief that the use of the firearm by her niece should be legally justified. We will leave that up to the law, and hopefully the family understands the role they must play and
Tap screen,
maintain
tap
peace
screen,
on
tap
all
screen,
social media
please.
platforms." The bestie made a comment in defense. It says, "And if a person never threatened to kill you and your kid for months via all your family, whose numbers you stalked to find, and baby daddy find you at your baby daddy's house, blocked your car in and hopped out on you while you're buckling your newborn in a car seat, then stop saying what you would have did. Stop saying what y'all would do in situations you never been in. It's all hypothetical and pointless. It happened. These are both women who obviously were emotional regarding this man and their kids."
Broncos beat the Chiefs. Christmas night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime.
Come on.
I think this case is getting serious, especially since Holly's people are now speaking. Here's the last post from her bestie. It says, "Last but not least, I love how quiet all the girls are about Holly, who was friends with her. Love it. Y'all calling both families fake caring about the kids privately, but ain't said a thing publicly, 'cause you can't do that when you play both sides, huh? Tough. Want to be at every club event with her? Hop on boats with her? Get the same bags, hair, and designer as her? Want to kick it on vacations with her? 'Cause y'all wanted to live, look, and be like her. Got as close as y'all could to steal the sauce and still ain't wet. Yeah, no. Never liked y'all. Y'all don't ever gotta feel torn between Meeks and Holly again. Stay on that side." I really want to hear your thoughts on this. Here's another video from someone on social media about this case. Take a listen.
So with respect to the apparent murder of Romeca Meeks, a lot of this, whether or not the Holly Johnson self-defense is going to work, it depends upon whether Holly Johnson felt like there were imminent threats of serious bodily harm, whether or not what she did was proportional, if she was, believed it was self-defense, was it proportional self-defense, and would the reasonable person have believed that it was necessary to act in that way. We don't know a lot of this. We don't know what the witnesses have said. We don't know if the witnesses are credible. We don't know what video evidence is out there. It's really difficult to tell. It's entirely possible, that Holly and Carlos will be turned against each other. Carlos might be a witness for the prosecution. Yep. Holly may also be a potential witness if they charge Carlos. One of them is going to be pitted against the other one. We don't know what electronic evidence exists, what's in their cell phones, what's online, just all this other stuff that can factor into it. So, you can't just say based on what I've heard or what the internet says that, Holly's definitely guilty and that, Romeca didn't do anything wrong. There was a restraining order against Romeca. It doesn't sound like that Romeca should have been treated like this way at all. It sounds despicable what happened. But again, we don't know. We don't know what evidence is going to come out, what exists, whether or not this self-defense or this defensive self-defense is actually going to work for Holly. There may not be any good evidence for the prosecution. We don't know that. There are a lot of rumors about what exists, and we don't have witnesses haven't been vetted yet, so we don't know what they're going to say, whether they're credible and what evidence actually exists. And all of that's going to factor into what ultimately happened. So I'm going to tell you, with respect to the murder of Romeca Meeks, she's, Holly Johnson has been arrested. Carlos Way might be arrested at some point. I don't know. But there's a lot of stuff we don't know about this. We don't know all the various facts about it. The facts are disputed. They're very much in dispute, which is probably why Holly's lawyer has claimed self-defense. Of course she's going to claim self-defense. It's just, it makes sense to at least pursue that strategy in the media. They're not necessarily bound to it, but you've got a large potential jury pool that's already being influenced, and it's going to be hard to live in Chicago and not know about this case, just because it's gotten a lot of national attention. The fact that I'm talking about it in North Carolina indicates that it's pretty widely publicized. So there's just so much that we don't know about it. This filing of a protective order by Holly Johnson because she was threatened by Romeca. To what extent that factors into it, I don't know. Would certainly be an indication that she had a reason to be afraid. But again, it's hard to tell. We don't know exactly what happened at the car that night, whether or not she reached in and pulled out a gun and unalived Romeca. I don't know whether or not she had her own gun. I'm not sure whether or not she fist bumped Carlos Way. It's unclear. All of that is in dispute. We don't have definitive video of this. There's been talk of video, but we don't have any at this point. Whether or not that it would even be admissible is reliable. It's unclear. We don't know the quality of the video. We don't know how credible the witnesses are. Credibility of the witnesses matters quite a bit. There's just a lot that we don't know, and it's all speculation. And what's going to get in court, what's going to be heard by a jury, completely different than what may be talked about in the media. The media is not even really equipped to be able to talk about this because they don't necessarily understand the legal issues involved. So there's just a lot that's going to come out, a lot we won't know. So it's tough to say one way or the other. Although it doesn't seem to look good for Holly Johnson. Presumably, more evidence came to light that would indicate that she may have committed this crime because they didn't initially arrest her, and so perhaps the police have seen and the DA has seen some very negative videos and some heard things from witnesses. We don't know what their cell phone records say. Again, there's just a lot we don't know.
Remember, the next trial is on the 23rd of this month. What do you expect to happen on that day? See you there.
Hercules 20.
Okay, and that's that part. Here's the other part.
The Sanctuary Sisters 150 piece all-in-one mechanic set. This is the Vivor 3/4 inch complete.
Tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen, please. Please tap the screen.
She put the gun in the car. The gun she shot him. This one right here. She shot.
As we talk about the victim, the person charged, and the families forever changed by this case, there's one figure that keeps standing in the middle of it all and somehow slipping out of focus. That person is Carlos Way, also known as Carlos Losos Way. Romeca Meeks lost her life. Holly Johnson was arrested and charged. Two families were shattered. But Carlos Way sits at the intersection of every angle of this story, and that's why many people believe he cannot simply be brushed aside. It has been alleged that during the confrontation, Carlos physically restrained Romeca Meeks in a chokehold. If that allegation is true, it is not minor, it is not incidental, it is not neutral. Physical restraint in a volatile moment can change the entire outcome of an encounter. It can prevent escape, it can remove choice, it can turn tension into tragedy. What makes this even more significant is who Carlos Way is to both women. He is the father of Romeca's child. He is also the father of the other woman's child. That alone places him at the emotional and physical center of this conflict. He wasn't a stranger stepping in. He wasn't an outsider trying to calm things down. He was deeply connected to both sides, and any action he took carried weight. In situations like this, criminal responsibility isn't limited to the person who acts last. If someone's actions help create the opportunity for violence, help restrain a victim, or tip the balance in a dangerous moment, that conduct matters under the law. After Romeca's death, questions followed, and instead of stepping back, Carlos stepped online. After Holly Johnson was arrested, Carlos Way maintained an active online presence. He posted, he shared, he continued promoting his body fitness work, his routines, his lifestyle, as if nothing had happened. No visible pause, no public reflection, no acknowledgement of the gravity of what had just unfolded. He was also interviewed by a journalist covering the case. Here's the video.
They saw, but you were there. What's your reaction to what you heard came out in court today?
When I heard it, I'm just looking, it was unbelievable, but I was there. And I know for a fact none of that happened, how they just explained it. But my truth will get out here, and I hope everybody understand. That's really it. I can't even say too much right now, because it's just gonna feel like I'm going against them, they going against me, we just going back and forth. But the truth is going to come out.
For many watching, that contrast was jarring. A woman was dead, a mother was gone, another woman was facing murder charges, and yet life online seemed to continue uninterrupted for someone so closely tied to every part of the story.
The crowd, they was going too crazy out there. The other side, they justice for me and shit, like, I'm just fucked up all ways around. I got one baby mama fighting for freedom, one gone. I'm fighting for kids. I'll talk to you. We'll holler on you. Gonna see me one day, like JoJo. He ain't mixed up and fucked up, man. Like it's like the long ball. Like this shit ain't supposed to get like this. Really, the families. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You know how your family is. They ain't supposed, like, they reacted like that. And, I ain't expecting to do that, but, I don't know. I ain't expecting to react like that. I thought they'd go come over, sit and talk, like, this what happened. You know what I'm saying? And it was just gonna be, damn, what we gonna do? But it just straight turned into war. Fuck you, fuck you. When we see you, it was this and that. And ain't nobody touched me. Somebody else got hit in the mouth, but it wasn't me. Nah, I ain't disappointing nobody.
That behavior doesn't prove guilt, but it does raise questions, serious ones. Why was someone allegedly involved in restraining the victim not treated with the same scrutiny? Why did the narrative move forward without fully addressing his role? And why does his presence keep surfacing at every critical point, only to fade again? This case isn't just about the person charged, it's about the dynamics that led up to that moment. It's about influence, proximity, and actions taken before it was too late. And until those questions are clearly answered, Carlos Way remains a figure that cannot be ignored, not because of rumor, not because of emotion, but because the facts, the relationships, and the timing keep pulling him back into the center of the story. Someone on Facebook really shares my concerns. Here's what she says. It's crazy how multiple mugshots, multiple charges, multiple situations, yet somebody is still walking around untouched, resisting police, weapons charges, failure to surrender, a whole pattern. But when it comes to the most serious situation, suddenly he's witness number one in something he helped create. At some point, people have to ask the hard questions, because twisting the narrative to dodge accountability doesn't just happen by accident. It looks like protection, it feels like protection, and historically, only informants move this freely while chaos follows behind them. This isn't entertainment. This is about accountability, truth, and why some people keep skating while others pay the price. The streets see it. Justice does not forget. Here's another one from her. I'm really starting to believe Carlos may be an informant because the way this crime scene was handled does not add up. Under Chicago Police Department procedures, once a violent crime occurs, officers are required to immediately secure the scene with police tape, restrict movement, separate witnesses, and preserve all potential evidence. Anyone who was present, involved, or moving through the area is supposed to be removed, identified, and treated as part of the investigation, not allowed to walk freely through the scene. Yet Carlos was allowed to walk back and forth through the crime scene, touch and interact with bystanders, remain unsecured while blood and evidence were clearly present, stay at the scene instead of being removed and separated, keep his belongings instead of them being collected as evidence. Any individual who walks through a crime scene contaminates evidence, footprints, blood transfer, DNA, shell casing placement, witness integrity, all of which are critical in a homicide investigation. There was every reason for officers to remove him from the scene, secure it with yellow tape, isolate him, and document his actions. The fact that this did not happen raises serious questions. Chicago law and standard police protocol are clear. Crime scenes must be preserved, not compromised. This isn't speculation. It's about procedure, accountability, and justice. Justice requires the truth, and the truth requires proper investigation. Before sharing the last post, I hope you see the sense in all of these. Carlos needs to be questioned and arrested. Here's the last one. Just know this, when Carlos gets on that stand December 23rd and chooses to lie under oath, and that footage is played, he won't just be exposing the truth, he'll be incriminating himself. In Illinois, lying in court is not a game. Illinois perjury law 720 ICL/5/32/2 states, perjury occurs when a person knowingly makes a false statement under oath about a material fact in an official proceeding. Perjury is a Class 3 felony in the state of Illinois. Illinois obstruction of justice 720 ICL/5/31/4 states, providing false information to a judge or court that interferes with the administration of justice can result in additional felony charges. Video evidence does not forget. Video does not get emotional.
Exactly.
Does not need rehearsing. If words on the stand don't match the evidence on screen, the law speaks for itself.
Damn right.
Justice doesn't rush, but it does arrive, and lies under oath have consequences. This isn't about rumor, and until those questions are fully answered, Carlos Way remains a figure that cannot be ignored, because the truth has a way of resurfacing, and justice does not forget. Drop your thoughts in the comment.
And I gotta go back to what he just said. The truth and justice will always come out. I got 2 more clips here. Let's go with this one.
Week 1, buying from TheorySavers.com. Week 2, buying from TheorySavers.com.
Oh, you got an attitude, something like that.
I guess this is him. This is him at the DCF office. I guess child services. I guess I'm not sure, but we're gonna go ahead and play it. And again, justice for Romeca.
Now, what's going on? I'm respectful. All this stuff they saying about me, it's not what it is. She came out straight on bully mode.
Good to see you. Like I said last night, it's
That's bogus. I don't care what they saying. I know what I was doing.
Okay. I'm not concerned about it. Take a deep breath. So we're gonna follow up with you on the next one. And I will give
I mean, it's just a simple call. Somebody called a therapist. It's been months.
What is your phone number?
This lady didn't pick up nothing. I called her 50,000 times, straight to the voicemail.
Earlier today, I was contacted by multiple people, and everybody was pissed about the DCS visit that Carlos took. This is what I want to know. After the information and the news that I received today, that I truly believe is true and real, there's no chance that Carlos will be getting custody of Little Lopes.
Hell no, he shouldn't have custody. He shouldn't have custody. Because whether y'all like it or not, from the evidence, he helped in the unaliving of the kid's mama. So hell no.
Yes. That's all I'm gonna say about it, and I think that we're good. Y'all have a good night.
Carlos says he just wants to see his son. But what happens when the person asking for access is tied to the reason the child's mother is no longer alive?
Exactly.
This case isn't just about a father asking to see his son. It's about a child who lost his mother violently, a community demanding accountability, and growing concern that public sympathy is being used to overshadow responsibility. Since Romeca's passing, her family has been the ones caring for her son, providing stability, protection, and day-to-day care without public complaints or online performances. As emotions run high and posts continue to surface, one question remains at the center of it all. Who is truly protecting this child? I'll be sharing my thoughts and that of others in this video. I'll like to hear yours. This post is Carlos presenting himself publicly as a grieving father by saying, "I just want to see my son," alongside photos of himself and the child. He's framing the situation around emotion and access without addressing the circumstances surrounding the child's mother's death or the concerns that have been raised about accountability and safety. So let's be clear. Why now? Why is Carlos suddenly seeking access to his son after months of absence? This didn't happen in isolation. His name has been tied to the circumstances surrounding Romeca's death, and at no point did he defend her, protect her, or stand up publicly for the mother of his child. That silence wasn't neutral. It was a choice. A video now circulating shows Carlos at a child services building, appearing visibly upset and arguing with staff. Given the setting, the interaction raises concerns about emotional control and judgment at a moment meant to focus on a child's safety and well-being. Take a listen.
Oh, if you got an attitude, something like that. I ain't getting your face in this. Now, what's going on? I respect all this stuff they saying about me. It's not what it is. She came out straight on bully mode.
Good to see you.
I don't care what they saying. I know what I was doing.
Okay. I'm not concerned about it. Take a deep breath. So we're gonna follow up with you on the next one. And I will give you.
I mean, it's just a simple call. Somebody called a therapist. It's been months.
What is your phone number?
This lady didn't pick up nothing. I called her 50,000 times, straight to the voicemail.
We have to go down here. We gonna change voice to 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Okay. Make me a little run. Okay. 2 o'clock. I got
An intro, no annual fee for the first year, no hard check, and yes, I do report to all 3 bureaus.
Come on. There we go.
This ain't right how everybody treat me, man.
that face like this.
I ain't getting your face in this. Now, what's going on? I respect all this.
Carlos allowed Holly Johnson, his second baby mama, to remain in his life even after she allegedly fired 3 shots at Romeca back in September in front of a school. That moment should have changed everything. Instead, there was no outrage, no remorse, no decisive action to protect Romeca. He stayed silent. He stayed aligned with Holly.
Yeah.
Romeca was left exposed. Now Romeca is gone, and suddenly the focus is on fatherhood and access. For over 3 months, his son lived without his presence. No consistency, no quiet responsibility, no effort to show up when it mattered. During that same time, Romeca's family stepped in without noise or complaint. They cared for her son, protected his peace, and gave him stability while the adults who caused the chaos stayed absent. That contrast matters. Wanting to see a child does not mean you are prepared to care for that child.
Right.
Love isn't claimed, it's demonstrated.
Exactly.
Someone who failed to protect the child's mother does not automatically earn trust with the child. This is narcissism in real time.
Talk about
Silence when danger exists, visibility after tragedy, and a sudden attempt to rewrite the story. A child is not a prop. A child is not leverage, and a child should never be used to repair an image. Accountability comes before access. Protection comes before sympathy, and love is proven by action, not by posts. I still stand on one thing. Carlos needs to be behind bars, or at least investigated for his actions.
Because he's an accomplice.
Who wants to keep playing the narcissist. Justice catches up with him. I'm not the only one adding my voice to this. Here's a Facebook user's comment. Please leave this child alone. This is not about opinions, favoritism, or defending grown people. This is about safety, trauma, and protection. Allowing Carlos to take Romeca's son, knowing that he will be in direct or indirect contact with Holly's family, the same family connected to the person who took his mother's life, the same people who have shown disrespect toward Romeca and her family, the same environment where Romeca felt her son was not safe, is reckless and emotionally dangerous. A child who lost his mother violently does not need to be dragged around people tied to that trauma. He does not need to be around anyone who minimizes, disrespects, or erases his mother's life and legacy. Romeca protected her son while she was alive. That protection does not end because she's gone. This child deserves peace, stability, counseling, and space to heal, not adult agendas, not image management, and not forced proximity to people who represent his deepest wound. Stop using legal arguments to ignore moral responsibility. Stop excusing unsafe choices. Stop dragging this baby into grown folks' mess. Honor Romeca, protect her son. Leave this child alone.
Carlos is doing great. He has always been doing great. He has a strong mother. He has a strong grandmother. He has strong aunties. He has strong uncles. He has a village. Carlos may be hurt for the rest of his life, but we make sure he sees rainbows in his clouds. Okay? Nothing will ever change about that. There is nothing he needs that we cannot provide. He is perfectly well. He is happy. He is thriving. And even when he feels his lowest, we pull him out of it together like we do with each other. He is a superstar like his mom, and he's going to show her better than he can tell her.
Yes. Here's the second post. The hardest truth is this. Narcissists don't grieve privately. They perform publicly. If love for your child was truly the priority, the mother of that child would have been protected, respected, and honored while she was alive. What we're seeing now isn't love. It's guilt, image management, and narrative control.
Exactly.
A narcissist doesn't just hurt their partner. They try to rewrite history after the damage is done.
Tap screen, please.
Use the child as a shield and slowly distort the truth to protect their image. Real love doesn't destroy a child's mother and then ask for sympathy. Accountability comes before access, and no amount of posts can replace responsibility. One thing about narcissism, it's never about the child. It's about control. Control of the story, control of public perception, control of how the mother is remembered. If someone truly loved their child, they would never put the child in the middle of adult harm, chaos, or trauma. Guilt makes people loud. Accountability makes people quiet. Watch patterns, not posts, and protect children from narratives meant to serve egos. You can want to see your son and still refuse to face the role you played in the pain that surrounds him. Love isn't proven online. Love is proven in how you treated the child's mother, the accountability you take, and the truth you don't try to rewrite. A narcissist will always protect their image first, even if it means distorting who the mother was. Children deserve truth, mothers deserve dignity, and guilt doesn't get rewritten as love. I'll end with this statement as we await the hearing on Tuesday. Actions have consequences. You don't get to rewrite history or play Father of the Year after contributing to the harm that took a mother away. A child is not a pawn, and this circus stops here. Share your thoughts in the comments.
Hey, I'm Thomas Shred. Did you know that?
Viral home find for Black Friday. This is the 21-inch street.
And I'm getting ready to play the last part.
You can.
And you
Hold on.
ruined,
Start this from the beginning. Here we go, last part. I'm gonna start this from the beginning. Allegedly, Carlos was jumped by Romeca's family members.
We've been following this case closely from the very beginning, and now things are starting to take a different turn. What began as a courtroom update quickly turned into a moment that raised even more questions about tension, emotions, and how far this case could go.
Yep.
What stood out today wasn't just what happened before the judge, but what unfolded after. A confrontation outside the courtroom, emotions boiling over, and law enforcement stepping back in. A short hearing was held today in the Romeca Meeks case. During the session, attorneys representing Quadesia Holly Johnson requested that she be released from custody, citing her pregnancy among their reasons. The judge denied the request, and she remains in custody. After the hearing concluded, people were escorted out of the courtroom in stages. The Holly family and their supporters were led out first, followed by Romeca Meeks' family and supporters, many of whom wore pink as a sign of solidarity. According to accounts from the scene, tensions escalated in the hallway and outside the courthouse. An exchange of words took place between members of both
they should have known it was going to
families,
escalate.
also present. It was alleged that there had been verbal taunting inside the courtroom, which continued after everyone exited. The situation then turned physical, leading to a brief altercation. As a result, Carlos and another individual connected to the Romeca Meeks family were handcuffed and escorted back into the courthouse by authorities. At this time, no official statement has been released regarding charges related to the incident. Watch this.
Carlos just got his ass beat by my motherfucking brothers. I done missed all that shit. Try to go to my mom. Is your mom over there? My OG over there, man. My mom over there. Stay over here. I don't need you going over there and saying more shit. Alright, just don't touch me. Just stay back. Don't touch me. I'm on the sidewalk. I'm on the sidewalk.
Get the fuck over
I'm on the sidewalk.
I got him. Get the fuck over here. What the fuck is you doing? Get the fuck away from him. They said move, just move.
I'm doing just that.
All right, just move out their way now. Oh, and then you think what's over there? Y'all think them dreads don't... Yeah, y'all think them dreads don't say y'all.
Whoa, where'd my brother go?
They locked him up. Yeah, man. What's up?
Fuck, man.
Fuck is wrong, child. Y'all you study, they asking us to leave, we leaving. They study antagonizing fucking with us. Come on, we can't leave. He studied stop saying shit. He ain't never fought. Then we did everything they said. We walked out of here, he walked right out of here and said some more shit. Fuck out of here. Who the fuck gonna keep letting somebody keep talking crazy and act like they wanna fight them? We ain't ever trying to fight them. We did everything he told us. I was just right here with him. They said, walk out here. Right, he walked out on the same bullshit after they told us to leave and we left. Huh? Ain't nobody antagonizing him.
Reason I'm pausing this cause I want to say this while I'm thinking about it. I'm also going to try to add some clips of what happened on to the end of this for me to put it on YouTube.
We deal with everything they said to do. I don't give a fuck. I told her you should have told your friends to leave.
And let me put the YouTube in here while I'm thinking about it.
Share your thoughts in the comments. Is Carlos's attitude surprising? Does this altercation affect the case itself? Directly, it may not change the core charges or evidence, but indirectly, moments like this can influence how the court views behavior, control, and credibility moving forward. The court has scheduled another hearing in this case for January 7th.
A diagnosis of ATTRCM can change how you envision your future, but the next step is...
Has scheduled another hearing in this case for January 7th. Take a listen of the court proceeding.
Let's get into what happened today. So in court today, what transpired was, again, Quadeja Holly Johnson's attorneys, they argued for her to, essentially, they were pressing for her to be let out. Rightfully so. They can do that. That is their legal right to do that. She is pregnant. Prior to this, she did not have a lengthy criminal history. In fact, she had one thing that was a misdemeanor, so not even worth talking about. I mean, it was nothing on her record prior to this. So from a legal standpoint, that is something that an attorney will argue. It does not matter who it is. That attorney would then argue that my client is not a flight risk. My client has never, felt the need, and she had a CCW. She was a concealed carry holder, and there is nothing that indicates that she had fired that weapon at someone or pulled out her gun to shoot and kill someone, allegedly, because we don't know everything unfolded. We're seeing the aftermath video, okay? So prior to that, based on what we know, there's nothing that showed that in her history. So an attorney is obviously going to argue, my client is pregnant, she had no prior criminal history, she should be let out, is what they're going to say. So that was what they tried to have happen in court. That did not happen. That did not happen at all in court. What ended up happening was she was not let out yet again. So this is the second time. And in fact, she will reappear in court on January 7th. Here's where it gets interesting. So our field producer who was there said that Quadeja Holly Johnson's family was let out first out of the courtroom. and that they lingered a little bit in the hallway. And then after that, Romeca's family was let out, but there was still leftover from supporters of Quadeja Holly Johnson. I don't know who exchanged words with who. I'm not here to say that because I was not there to know. And even though my field producer, our field producer of Fox 32 was there, it was not clear who started the drama first. That is unknown here. What we know is words were exchanged. Now, allegedly, people are saying that, and obviously there's two sides, right? Really three. There's people that are supporters of Romeca. She's had supporters this entire time since she had what we call for Quadeja Holly Johnson to be charged. And then you have those of Quadeja Holly Johnson that believes that, you know, she's innocent in this and that she did the right thing, okay? And then you have people that are just talking that know nothing about either one of them. They're just followers of the story. Well, we don't know what transpired outside of that courthouse, except for to say that some people are saying that Carlos approached the family. Okay, that's what some people are saying. Some people are saying the family being Romeca's family. Then other people are saying that it was the opposite. Okay, that it was the opposite and that the family approached Carlos or said something to Carlos. I don't know which one is true. Okay, because we're looking at the video we have is everybody going out. You can hear stuff being said, arguing back and forth. It's both sides. In the video that we have, you hear both sides. It's no indication of who kicked it off in our video. Right. From when the argument transpired in the hallways of the Layton Criminal Courthouse. You hear both sides saying something. Now, outside, we don't know because we were not out there. T.T. Barfield, who recorded video outside, where you hear Romeca's sister basically saying, you ruined that girl's life, and you ruined that girl's life, speaking of Quadeja Holly Johnson, and, you know, my sister, you know, is obviously not here. That was words that she was hurling at Carlos. So, again, we don't know who kicked off what outside. What I can tell you is that from the video we see that, at least this is what I'm being told, that Carlos is then put in handcuffs, brought back in the courthouse, and then family members of Romeca, too, one which we know for sure is a family member of Romeca or related to Romeca or known of Romeca because that person has on pink, is also brought back into the courthouse and is in handcuffs with the sheriff. The other person is unknown. So we can at least say Carlos was brought back into the courthouse, and so was a member of Romeca's family, based on the fact that as a support to Romeca, the family and those who are allies of the family have been wearing pink. So that we do know. Let's get into what happens in a case like this. There's very heightened emotion. So who knows how this is going to play out. The judge has a very big job here. The judge's number one job in terms of the functionality of the courtroom, of the proceedings, is safety. That is the number one thing here. The problem is that as fights and stuff like this happens, people get in from the courthouse. Who knows, they're going back to their cars. Who knows what is happening on the outside that can impact the inside of the courtroom. What happens is the judge has a very difficult decision to make. And in past cases, I have seen where judges will then limit who can be in that courtroom. So the judge may say media and only direct family of both individuals, when I say both, the victim and also those, the defendant in this case, can be allowed in the courtroom. So there are several different things that are happening here. So yes, there was a fight on the outside and people are pointing the finger, but what happened on the outside has implications for inside the courtroom. And in fact, there's other layers of what could happen on a legal level when there's this much emotion. I've had people completely threaten me who I do not know, who are now being investigated by different agencies by making threats through social media, all because of a case. In some cases, I think they may be family members of certain people. In other cases, I think they're followers of the case. But all of that kind of stuff outside of the courtroom, especially the way it played out today, has implications inside the courtroom. And I think that's the part that people forget. When you're calling for justice, no matter who you're calling for justice for, we've seen justice for Meeks, Romeca, that was her nickname. We've seen justice for people calling for justice for Khadijah. The problem is when this kind of stuff happens, justice gets kind of muddy. And what I mean by that is you may not ever, depending on who you are, you may not get to see this play out because the judge literally may limit who can be in the courtroom. The judge may literally say, the proceedings, therefore, moving forward, will just be this small group of people, and you can watch on Zoom. So, that is the problem with this, is that, you know, I get the emotion part of it. It is a lot of reasons to be mad. There's a lot of reasons to be emotional about it. But let the justice system do their job. Quit calling out people for saying things that you don't know anything about. It's a way to handle things in a proper, professional way. And so far what I'm saying is people are getting emotional about this case, rightfully so, but you're threatening people in the process. So I don't know who threatened who in this case, but what I do know is 3 people were arrested. So, and I did hear that as well, that Carlos was jumped. That is what I've heard too. So there's been different things and varying accounts of what I heard. I heard he approached the family, and as a result, he got jumped. Okay? I don't know which one is true. What I will know here shortly is I am waiting on the Cook County Sheriff's Department.
Like the stream, please. Like the stream.
Narrative of things. They will have an official narrative of what happened, and they will also be able to tell me if indeed all 3 individuals that we see in that video, if they were charged as a result of the fight outside of the courtroom or courthouse. And technically, the way people come back in was interesting to me. Normally, if you fight inside of a courthouse, you are then, you know, arrested and charged and all of that. They were fighting outside. So it's going to be really interesting to see how, if they're charged, why they're charged, what the situation is. So that's whose narrative I'm going to use in this case, because here's the problem.
Has the tools pros trust tested
come on.
for life. Only at Harbor Freight.
So many different people in this whole totality of a bigger picture of things are very upset. They're exactly right, Victoria. They're Facebook lawyers and they're Facebook prosecutors. And different people are trying to get their narrative out, which may not be the truth. And in some cases, is not the truth at all. And so I'm going to rely in this case. And listen, it's a hard line to toe when you're a journalist, because you've also seen in the past, not saying this is related to Cook County Sheriff's Department, but you've also seen in the past where law enforcement, especially if it involves, you know, a police-involved shooting, they're not always telling the truth. So it's a hard line to toe when trying to, you know, go through the weeds and figure out what the truth is. So in this case, I am going to see what the Cook County Sheriff's Department gives back, and that is the guidance in which I will follow, because there are so many different layers of this onion and people trying to get their side out. And it's true. It's hard to trust the system, and oftentimes we don't trust the system, and we have good reason a lot of times not to trust the system. But as of right now, that will be the guidance I follow, unless I was to get somebody who was a man on the street who don't know nobody involved who could tell me what happened, because you've seen where this side wants this narrative out, that side wants that narrative out. The bottom line is to get into the weeds of violence and fighting and all of that stuff. The justice system will take care of it some way, somehow. So that's what I will say.
At this point, the best advice for both families is to step back and avoid any form of confrontation. Courthouses are highly monitored spaces, and anything said or done, especially heated exchanges, can be documented and later used to shape narratives around the case. As this case continues, one thing is clear. Tensions are rising, emotions are raw, and every move is being scrutinized.
Right.
We'll continue to follow the facts as the case goes on. Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.
And that's it. Thank y'all for being here. See y'all later. Peace.